We're
live.
Oh, you're fast sharing that. Oh, you're using that time of the intro to share that, no?
Yes. Yes, I do. I share it while we're on the intro.
Shit. And I was like, oh, blueberries. I was like, just like eating.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Let's give it a few seconds so a bit more people can see the link. I see we got two people. So
come on, two people. Who is in the chat? Like, say
Tell
hi.
us who you are.
Who you are. Who are you?
So yeah, we're back. It's Friday. Maybe it's too nice weather.
That was fast.
It's too much nice weather here. Like, it's not supposed to be that hot here. Wait, I'm still shit. No.
It's Friday. Emilia is here. Nice.
Yay. I'm still sharing.
Yeah, we'll just give it a few seconds so people can find us.
Jump in.
Yes.
Is
here.
Okay, shared. Done.
I'm here. I shared it also quickly.
Me too.
Nice.
Technology.
Yeah. So the plan today is to continue with our topic from last time. We had our first episode with Daniel. It's a pleasure to have you here with us.
Thank you.
And the topic of these three talks are championships, which I dare to say that me and Estefanía is a bit lost. We don't know so much. That's why we brought in you. And all the things that you told us last time was amazing. Yes, your own story is amazing. So I got so many good feedbacks. Oh, people love you. I got so many good feedbacks. They're like, oh, I love this guy. So it's really good.
We love Daniel. Yeah. Which is like your relationship with championships. Like,
I don't really have any.
No, like really.
Yeah, as I told you last time, we have Jan Anders that did the championship, and he represented the school that Kjersti created. So he represented Tickle Toes, and that's kind of the only. And that was some years back. I think that was before he went to the pillow. So other than that, we don't have any traditions of championship.
But you personally, like, you've been in touch with people from championship, or maybe in communities that they are like most of them championship or not?
Not so many.
Just asking. No? Wow.
Yeah. No. I mean, I've been in contact with the people who organize it, but in like the salsa department and stuff like this, not the time. So yeah. But it's like two different worlds, I feel, in a way.
Yeah.
Well, they are coming together. They already. This is what we found out last time. They were separated much more, I think.
In the 90s, no? You feel it more separated in the 90s, and now it's kind of merged, no?
Yeah, because there was another thing that I was thinking after our last talk. For example, I mean, one of my best tap dance brothers' friends, Alexander Ostanin from the Ukraine. I mean, we grew up in Riza, and we were like also dancing against each other. But I mean, today we are big friends, and he organizes a festival. I mean, that's also interesting. So someone who was in Riza from a very young age on, and growing up in this competition world. And today he's also a festival producer where he invites all kinds of amazing people from all around the world. So that's also just interesting. Or Marsha from Germany, who does Taptastic. She's also linked to the world champs. Yeah, and so yeah, today those worlds are not that far from each other anymore. It's more.
I think it's really great that people like you and, as you say, Alexander and Masha and them are building bridges between these communities. I think that's really great.
Yes, yeah, because again, I mean, just to quickly touch on something from last time, I just remember a lot of conversations at those championships, Swiss championships or the World Championships, where people were asking, "Wow, you progressed so much in a year." You know, they told me this is how did you do that? And I just said, well, I was at this one festival and this happened. You know, so yeah, it was throughout those experiences and conversations where people started to be aware of all of how many other things there are outside the World Championship world. Or Linda in Dubrovnik, also her school is she represents, she's at the World Champs for many years, and she has a lot of amazing students and great numbers that she presents at the World Champs. And also, I don't even remember when her first Dubrovnik Tap Festival was, but she's also she's another person who is
I saw that that's one of the festivals that might happen this summer.
Yeah,
so
outdoor.
Mon posted about it. Yeah, that's wow, we can make one festival at least, so that's great.
Yeah,
let's see. I was like excited. I think I wrote to her like, wait, what?
How you do that? Here, I still didn't manage to teach one tap class this year, so I have one on Monday though. It's like everything is in full lockdown for everybody over 18 years old. So
crazy.
Yeah. Crazy times. So which end should we start with? We have like two different topics today. We're gonna talk about choreography, and we're also gonna talk about the ideology of championships. So which end should we start?
I think we said like going to the way of like judging and punctuation works.
Yeah, that's kind of where we ended, so we can start there.
Yes. Daniel said that it is connected right away with choreography and how you decide to make a choreography. So I think maybe the starting point is punctuation. So this system, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, so I mean, as far as I remember correctly, and you know, I hope I'm saying everything correctly here, is, for example, at the World Championships there is a judging system that is called a 3D judging system, like 3 dimensions, and it's choreography, technique, and image, I think. And the thing is that I mean, I've never been a judge at the World Championships, and I've never, you know, I have to be careful because I judged a few couple of times at some events and, you know, some championships, but like nothing as big as the World Champs. So, and I realized that it's so stressful for me, like me being in this position, and now watching, I don't know, let's say 7 solos, and I have to decide now, like, who's first, who's second, and I'm very bad at this because because I know how much work it is to create such a number, to have a student and work with the student, and, you know, come up with the choreography and teach it to the student, and then just, you know, make it work. So I have tremendous respect of anybody who like sort of finishes a number and puts the students on stage, and the students are able to perform it. So and now I have to like judge it. So it's hard. It's crazy for me. Yeah. So that's why I want to be careful when I speak about judges, because it's a crazy job. It's really a crazy job. And I mean, in Riesa, I think I'm not sure. There was one year there were 32 solos in the category, and it's just one category in one certain age group. So the judges are seeing 32 numbers, you know, and so this is a crazy job. And anyways, what I realized is when I heard about this system, when I heard 3D system, 3 dimensions, choreography, technique, image. For me, that was in the year 2014 maybe. I started to think about this system because I thought, well, what does it mean, choreography? Like the dimension choreography, what does that, like the choreography rhythmic wise, like the rhythmic composition wise, or how the room is being used, the space is being used, how the stage is used, or other dance movements that are involved. What is part of this one dimension choreography? And then there is the dimension technique. And then I thought, what, like the tap dance technique, or is it also like the dance technique? Because sometimes you have dancers there that are amazing multidisciplinary dancers. I remember one guy was turning like 15 pirouettes, amazing. And that was part of the solo. So that's all. You need a certain technique to be able to do that. So is it also this? And image, what does image mean? So I just had a lot of questions, and I had the feeling that this system tap dance is so complex. There are so many things about tap dance, visually, acoustically, what you see, what you hear. It needs a system that is also more complex. So I started to play around the idea of writing a new judging system, and I did, but I did like a first draft, and then I sent it to all of our friends in Switzerland, other tap dance schools, and I like proposed it to everybody, and I was curious about the feedback, and I got great feedback from everybody, and also some great ideas. So actually, even though I started writing the system, it came up as a group work of a lot of tap dancers in Switzerland, and everybody agreed that we should try this system in Switzerland for a Swiss championship. And my goal was, of course, to change it at the World Championships. That was like the goal. But first we had to try it ourselves. Yeah. So and that was amazing. That's another example of how, I don't know, of how thankful I am and proud of our tap dance scene in Switzerland, because everybody was willing to do so. Everybody agreed, yes, this is great, let's try something. Everybody was so open. So the system was that there are 7 judges. The first version of the system was 3 judges. They had only tap dance criteria, so they were looking, they were not looking at anything else. They were just listening and looking at the footwork. So what vocabulary is the dancer using? Is there a lot of vocabulary, or is it always the same vocabulary? Are there some references to some masters, maybe? Do you see some quotes from famous tap dancers? How is the rhythmic composition to the music? Does it make sense the way it is composed / choreographed to the music? Are there dynamics? Is the dancer on stage? Is it a changing of loud and very low sounds? The dynamics, accents, playing with accents. Those were criteria for the tap dancer. So they had their job was to just take care of this. And then 2 other judges, they were the eyes. They weren't even tap dancers. They were the first time we had 2 jazz dance teachers and choreographers, and their job was to look how they move, how they do they use other styles in their performances? What are they doing visually? How are they using the space, the stage? What costumes do they wear? What is their expression? How are they on stage? They have all of those criteria. So all the visual visual parts of it. And then there were two musicians in the judges, and they were actually not allowed. I mean, they, of course, they were allowed to look, but we suggested them, don't watch the performance. Close your eyes and listen. Just listen to the pieces. And so they had only musical criteria. Also, are the rhythms clear? Is it a variety of rhythms? Is the dancer or the group, or are they using? Are they only swinging? Is it only straight rhythm? Are they using both? Are they using accents? How is it composed to the music? Does it make sense? And so they can give points. So that was the new idea for a new system, and that made sense for me, because it's such a complex art form. There is so much you can see and there is so much you can hear. So that was the new idea for the new system. And we tried it. The first year was 3 tap dance judges, 2 dancers, I call them, and 2 musicians. Later, we decided that there should be more tap dancers. So then it changed to 4 tap dancers that are judging the tap dance and musical criteria, musical rhythmical criteria, 2 dancers that judge the visual, because you have, for example, you have the category formations, the big group numbers. And it's amazing what certain schools, what they do visually. They have those beautiful formation changes, then, amazing costumes, then all the arms are in sync, are just synchronized, so that's why we kept 2 judges, and then 1 musician was there to just give a perspective of someone who really just listens. So that was another try, and now it will change again. It will change again because now we found, the system makes sense, and it was very, very interesting to try all of this. But there is one problem. The problem is that the dancers, the 2 judges that are only judging the visuals, they have no relation to tap dance, and this is a problem. So they don't know how it feels like to tap, to do a hard tap dance combination, and at the same time doing some nice movements with the arms, for example. They can't put themselves into the dancer, and so this is a problem somehow. The musician is the same thing. The musician, he's listening, he can understand the rhythms, and he can say that makes sense to me musically, that doesn't make sense to me, this was off, this was, but he can't put himself into those shoes. He doesn't know how it is to play a groove, or to play to dance with tap shoes on and play that music with your feet. The musician cannot relate to that. So it's not good that he's a judge. That's like the new thing we found out. So now it's bringing us back to only tap dancers are judging, but they try to judge those 3 categories. So they are judging the tap dance, all of the things that are in tap dance, all of the things that are visual, and and the music, the rhythmical and acoustic things. And now we are back to also a sort of a 3D system, but it's just a different kind than the one in Riesa. So yeah, all of this, what I'm saying here, it's just to explain, it's so hard to find something that makes sense, because it will never, even if you come up with the best judging system, you will never be able to clearly say who's better or something like that, because that just doesn't, at the bottom line is that it's the taste and just the judges, that their own background and their own likes and dislikes, what they like, they will that will influence the result, because that's just the fact. So we have to just all be realistic and stay on the mindset that this is an art form. And yes, we do a championship here, we do contests here, the result is not an absolute result, will never be, can't be. It's, yeah.
I have a question. Like
Yes.
the system that is working now, is there things that are not allowed to do, or things that get extra points and stuff like this? Because I see that in other styles there are certain things that you can kind of get a minus point for, and then there's things that you will get a plus. So it doesn't necessarily mean that the person who wins is necessarily the best one. He just hit all the check boxes in a way of how the choreography was made according to the rules. Is that so in tap dance too?
So I would say, for example, at those Swiss championships where we are aware that we have this new system, it had a very nice side effect. When we had the first year, when we had the 2 musicians in the judges, it was amazing to work. It was different to work with the students, because we said, listen, you are rushing. You can't be rushing. You have to listen. You have to, don't rush, sit in the groove. There will be 2 musicians in the judges that will listen to you. You know, this had a very cool teaching aspect for a lot of the numbers with the kids, because sometimes it just happens that when they get excited or they get nervous, they start to rush on stage, and then they maybe dance it well, they execute the steps well, but they are not on beat, you know. So the side effect was that everybody that danced was much more was just more, how can I say, there was more taking care of what am I playing, because what you're saying is a big thing. Sometimes people get caught up because, of course, if you do a very complicated step, let's say, I don't know, you do this winga shuffle, bam, yeah, you do a very hard step somewhere, then of course, if you execute this step nicely, of course, this has more value than a shuffle ball change, yeah, for the judge, because the judge, as I mentioned before, the judges, they have this super hard job. They are sitting there and they have to like put the people in order. So they are looking at who's doing what and who's messing up where. They are actually more looking for what mistakes people are doing, or you can, because when I did it, when I had to be a judge and I had a few solos, and I remember, okay, this one dancer, she danced beautifully, but she was offbeat. So then I have like, okay, I have to put her there. And then I have 2 other dancers, and I can see, well, okay, she danced beautifully on beat, but her vocabulary was not that bright. She didn't use that complex, difficult steps. The other one did. So I can like create an order for me. So people, of course, they know that I call them tricks. Yeah, I just call them tricks. That the tricks, of course, that they have more value. But of course, and this was also the goal of this judging system, if you do those tricks and they are offbeat, they are not musically, they don't make sense musically, but then still this number has a great position at the end, this is where we have a problem. Yeah, this is where a problem starts, because you can say, okay, this dancer did, I don't know how many wings on one foot and a lot of crazy, I don't know, but nothing was really on beat. But then still, maybe this dancer becomes second in the end, yeah, becomes second place. And unfortunately, sometimes that happened in Riza, yeah, many years ago. That pieces that had maybe great energy. It was a great performance. It was very flashy. It was very bam. It was, you know, it was a big show. But tap dance wise, it wasn't maybe even super clean on music. Vocabulary wise, it was maybe a lot of the same stuff again and again. So this was also a reason why I had the idea to think through the system. I'm not saying it also in Riza, it depends what kinds of judges are there. Yeah. it happened in the past that there were judges that were not tap dancers. And then of course again we have a problem, because you think, wow, it's a so-called world championship in tap dance, and you have people in the judges that are not tap dancers. Then of course this is a little bit of this is something that people talk about and discuss about and think that this is absolutely not okay. So then in other years there were only tap dancers, then the results were again different. So there are those many aspects of and then of course, let's say you have a school, you send a school to the world championships, and you see that, for example, in the solo boys or in the group pieces, a group wins that does a lot of flashy things, that you think, okay, to win at this competition, I have to do a lot of flashy things. So then I will be successful here. And so people started to only work on flashy things and forgot about the very fine and important nuances and in our art form. Yeah. So, and I'm speaking very carefully because I don't want to step on no foot, because still all of those people still did a lot of work. I don't want to. But just because of the judging system and some decisions of the judges that influences the dancers, that's an influence on all the participants. And it depends also on your motivation. Why are you participating? Why do you decide, I want to go to the World Championship? If you decide, I'm only participating because I want to win, if this is my goal, well, then probably if this is your goal, you will decide to look what kinds of choreographies are successful and go into this direction and do this way, or just this certain style of choreography. Yeah, that's their decision. Yeah. For me personally, I had a problem with that. I always, until today, I have a problem with that. I choreograph a piece. If a student comes to me and tells me, Danny, we would like to do a duo together, or I would like to do a solo, or could we do a group number? I say, yes, of course. And then I want to find the music that I think makes sense for them, a tune that makes somehow that feels right. And then I create a choreography because I want to make sense choreographically and rhythmically and musically to this choreography. And I want a nice number where I also see that the students can learn something while they learn this choreography. Again, maybe a certain step from Jimmy's slide. Just today I had a rehearsal, yesterday I had a rehearsal, and one of Jimmy's slide steps just is perfect to this music. So I put it in, explained them, this is a slide, this is a step from Jimmy's slide, and they have to hear the rhythm in the music, and so I do my own decisions, my own artistic, or how can I say, my own choreographic decisions. And then if they like, and of course, I have to be honest. Of course, the thing is that when I know they go to a championship, I think, okay, maybe they don't know wings yet. So I think, okay, I will teach them wings. And I find this one spot in the choreography where I think there it makes sense to include a little flashy thing, because this is, I think it's also nice that the fact that it is a championship gives you a little push. It still pushes you, it pushes you to bring the students technically and musically to a next level. That's a great thing, but it needs to make sense. It needs to make sense musically and rhythmically, and this is how I choreograph, and this is how the numbers how they get created. And I had numbers at the World Championships that were very successful, that won. I had numbers that didn't get to the finale. I have to stay true to myself. I will not start to choreograph in a different way just to be successful in Riza. That's just not, I don't know. but this is my decision, and I'm very happy that I am part of this world as well until today. And because again, what I said last time, the whole thing is an amazing exercise. This is the reason. Doing championships is an amazing exercise. I don't care if they win, they can't become last. I don't care. But they did a huge progress. They learned the number, they went on stage, they performed it. That's great. Yeah. And when maybe they win. 2 years ago, there was a duo, 2 boys. They ended up second. I was so surprised. They were also surprised, and it was, and then it's nice. I mean, of course, it's a nice feeling, but it's not. That's not the why. Just learning from the experience. Yeah.
Because I see a concern among a lot of teachers, like online and stuff like this. They post in the groups, and a common concern is that, are they supposed to compromise their choreography because they know that the judges won't necessarily judge the tap, that they will judge other things because maybe they had a few tap classes, but they're not really tap dancers. So a lot of teachers are questioning, like, how should I choreograph? Should I choreograph for them to win and to be liked by the judges, so the students kind of get this feeling of how do you say, like, doing well, or should you do independent?
Yeah, I can speak only for myself. I have to, maybe you guys know that feeling, yeah. You have this one piece of music, you take it with you to the studio, you put your shoes on, and you start to play around, and then all of a sudden it hits, and you find something that, yes, this feeling of, yes, this is how I want this. And I just really like this feeling when I find my own way how to choreograph, compose tap dance, a piece of tap dance to this sort of music. It feels so good. This is how it feels right to me. And then explaining this to your student and get them there and get them to understand. That's something I like so much. And of course, again, I have to say that still, I'm not making it easy for the students. I want them to progress also. I want them to get better. I want them to play clear 16th notes in this speed of the original speed of the song. I want that they are able to do that, So of course there is a push, but it's just to make them better tap dancers and not necessarily, hopefully they win there. Yeah, that's not the case. You said it before. I mean, sometimes you could even say, let's say you play around with some polyrhythms in your solo. Maybe there could be judges that don't understand that. I'm saying this with love and respect. Yeah, but yeah, if there is a judge who's an amazing jazz choreographer, jazz dancer, or I don't know, maybe that this kind of rhythmical field won't be understood. Yeah. So my suggestion is to everybody, this is also something I experienced in the past. Someone danced at the world champs in Riesa. The number was not successful, but this number was presented at the student showcase at a festival. Yeah, for example, because at festivals, students also have the chance to perform. There is a student showcase, or there is some kind of show or something, and then at such a festival, there was beautiful feedback from some of the faculty members and people that, and then this was also an encouragement for the student, So this can happen. Yeah, that's something that is super. And the opposite can happen as well, that a piece that is extremely successful at the World Championships, when this gets presented at the festival, maybe the feedback won't be, because it's different tastes, it's different, there are different kinds of group choreographies, yeah, of solos, of different approaches, yeah. So my suggestion would always be, hey, be present in both worlds and go and try, go to the world champs, go to a festival, present your piece there, present your piece there. Yeah, don't close up. And then maybe it happens that you realize, the championship world is nothing for me, and you go to the festivals. The other thing can happen also, that you've been always at festivals, and now you found a platform where you can show your work regularly on your regular basis, and be successful there. So I would never say don't do that or don't do that. You have to go and make your experience and do what feels right in the end. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's a tricky subject. It's a tricky subject.
I think
from your experience, have you seen in any other style this happening with the judges, that there, for instance, is a ballroom teacher judging a ballet competition or stuff like this, or does this consequently happen in tap dance?
To be very honest, I think that also in other championships, I mean, I don't know for sure. The truth is, I don't know. What I'm saying now is speculation, but I could think that that there could be, for example, a show dance championship or even a hip hop championship, and that there are judges sitting that maybe someone isn't directly from the field, but is an amazing jazz choreographer, but still can, out of their experience and their know-how, they can still judge somehow. But I don't know. I have to be very honest. The only competition world that I have like a close look in is the Swiss championship and is the world champs in Riesa. Otherwise, I would lie. So
because at least, like, I have not seen anything else than a ballet teacher or dancer judging a ballet competition, or for instance in salsa or ballroom styles, it has been ballroom people that has over 20 years experience. They don't put a tap dancer to judge those competitions, or they don't put a ballet teacher to judge a salsa competition.
Yeah.
So just like,
yeah, I mean, this is also something now for the system, the judging system in Switzerland. This is something we realized, even though the idea was good, because tap dance is this art form between the universe of dance and the universe of music. Tap dance is somewhere there. So we thought we need someone from the music universe and someone from the dance universe. But now we also found out that it needs to be tap dancers. Tap dancers they have to be sitting there and judge. Yeah. Even though the musician has amazing ears, he doesn't know how it feels like. He doesn't know how it is to execute, and unfortunately, I haven't reached my goal yet, or we haven't reached the goal yet. In Riesa, there is still the same 3D system. But there is a lot of effort in the organization to really make sure that only tap dancers are judging. And for example, what makes me very happy is that Fabrice Martin, I talked about him the last time. He, for example, he was judging a couple of I think for 2 years now already. I'm not sure. So someone who he has a direct experience in Riesa, being on stage, dancing there, choreographing for it. So he's becoming a judge now. I think this is amazing that they're, I mean, who knows? Maybe one day I will decide to do it. I will go there and be a judge, and maybe also other dancers that grew up in Riesa will become the future judges. And then I think with that experience, also with that 3D system, the results can be judged, or the people will judge well, because it's really someone who knows, who grew up there and who's a tap dancer and who went through all of this many times in its past. So who knows? Maybe maybe I will be judged one day also, even though I'm still scared of it. But the thing is, I will always teach. I have students, and I wanna prepare them for that and bring them there. So when I bring my own numbers, I'm not allowed to be judged. So this will be my excuse. I can't be judged. I'm yeah.
So I have like a couple of thoughts, like with all what we said, and we're talking about somebody that is watching and giving an opinion. In this case, is like calling judge and judging. But we have the same thing, because I'm not from this world, so I take all these ideas. So okay, where they said in my world. So they said in something that I said, I think this past week. What is the line between the arts and the business? Where do you put this thin line and close to which side of it? So once you're choreographing, you can decide you're doing the things that you're choosing because of the expression or what you want to say. Or in a company, you can decide, okay, if I do that, maybe they will not hire me, or maybe the audience will not like this thing. So I will do this thing just to get the job. So I think it's kind of the same. So the way you're choosing the things, and you need to decide which side you're picking. And I think it's not like just arts and just business. I think it's something like there's like two spots and you have this line, and I think you can put it like closer this side or close to the other. But I think it's not like unexistent. So I think where you put this line is your decision. I'm using this system or this mindset for my company. So it's choreography. So I think inside of the championships, you can decide like this kind of things. So if you want to win, okay, maybe you need to decide like specific things to win, because I know it works like this, or like kind of a strategy to get this. Or like, I don't care. I would just, like, as you said, Daniel, I just build the things because I feel them that way. And it's your decision. No?
Yes. I forgot to mention one thing. It also depends on the student or the students. Let's say I have someone who's really by nature, who's really, outgoing and bam, and likes to be, wow, a student who's like this. Then I think, wow, maybe something like a Broadway-ish number, something fast swing, something little bit show style, and she would, and then I also see she would like to do that. Then it makes sense for this type of person, and this student also likes doing this. And then I can have another student who's maybe a little bit more, a little bit more shy, but has great ears. So then I think, okay, maybe I find a music where she doesn't have to be like this or anything, but I can go more musical and more, a softer tune that makes also sense for that character. So this is one thing. The other thing, yes, I agree with my company. We have material for an audience, because let's say I get a phone call and they say, hey, Danny, we would like to book you for a gig of 20 minutes. And so then I have to ask, okay, what is the event? What people are in the audience, And then they said, it's actually a soccer club. We had this recently. It's all sportsmen, like sports guys, and they are, sports is their thing. So and then maybe I think, well, maybe we take stuff from our repertoire that is a little bit more entertaining, not too complex, not too complicated. Something that's fast, because this is easier understandable for that kind of audience. Still, I will not, how can I say, I know that I have those kinds of pieces. They are still, it's still, the most important thing, that this is all rhythmically tight, and it's like for this, also when you do a party and you have a lot of young people there, you want to play music that the young people know, and you don't play hits that, I don't know, if you're a DJ you have to decide, or you don't play hard heavy metal rock when you have a lot of old people standing, you know what I mean? So it's like you sort of have to find out what is your audience like, what makes sense, and then I make those decisions. Yes, if it's at a dance festival with a lot of different dancers in the room and tap dancers, and or maybe it's I don't know, a dance festival, then we have pieces where I combine other dance movements, a little bit of modern movements in the choreographies, where the music is a little bit more complex, where the rhythms and everything is a little bit more experimental, a little bit more a little bit more artistic. Then I choose those kinds of pieces. Yeah, so I think it's nice to have to play around with a broad spectrum of music and ideas, and then use them in different moments, or it depends what the gig is about. Yeah. If it's a tap festival, then of course, again, it's different. Yeah, because you have a room full of tap dancers, or at the music festival, it's also there. I don't stick myself in one place. I like to choreograph in different ways, and for all kinds of ears, for all kinds of people in the audience. Yeah. So you're very right. I mean, it is close somehow. Yeah. There are also people or artists that just say, I'm only doing my thing, period. Which is, and that's, I mean, come on. Yes, I completely agree. Yeah. My thing is, well, give me this Britney Spears song. Yeah. And let's see. Yeah. I love that groove. Let's see what could we do with this, and give me this John Coltrane song, and let's see what I could do with this. So I really like to jump from, but again, this is very personal.
I think I would call that thing maybe to not get stuck in one decision. If you get stuck in some idea or some style, maybe because you're afraid or you have some kind of fear for the other things, or you can say I want to experiment, just go everywhere. But if they ask me more inside me, which is who are you in this, you can say ta-da, that's me. But I think the more idea you have, clear idea of who you are, you can go everywhere. I think it's a matter of knowing yourself. So once you know, you can go to a championship. I know who I am. I can play this game right now for something specific, or a gig, or strategy to get this kind of gig or this kind of place. I don't know, but once you know who you are, I think you're fine. Knowing I'm here, but I can play around this thing and coming back. Or maybe you go there, you like it and you stay, but you bring yourself there. I don't know if you understand me like this.
Of course, no, I absolutely understand you. And I mean, I have friends that love the Broadway style, And then I'm the biggest fan because I'm seeing this is authentic. This is what you just said. It's when you find, wow, this is my thing. This particular, I found myself in this particular style. I think there's nothing more beautiful to watch than if you see someone who's in its element, that's
like a fish in the water.
Yeah, it's like a fish in the water. And I think sometimes it can be very hard to watch someone or not just in tap dance, in general, in art or in life, looking at someone and you feel that this person tries to be something else. They are not themselves. And so and in my particular case, I think also because of my story and my past, and just the fact that there were so many different kinds of moments that were like this for me. Today, I find myself in many of those. I like all kinds of things. Yeah, I like to be funny on stage. I like to play the clown on stage and tap at the same time. I really like that. But sometimes when I don't know, when you have a broken heart and you just have to go and express yourself in a different way. There was a time in my life where the only thing I could improvise to were like sad songs. I had to, because that taking a fun music in that moment did not make sense. So
do you have something that you feel really is you? Even though you like all things, is it something that you really feel like? I know the answer of Estefanía on this one, so that's why I'm asking that. Yeah,
I mean, yes. I mean, it's very funny. It's I think I think it was Alex Ostanin, maybe also, and more people. They said, Danny Borak is always like this. And they made like, I was laughing. No, this is Danny. Yeah, so I think definitely that I don't know, that I think the purest me is really when there is a tap festival and I have a great trio there and I can go and improvise. Then of course you see, like, I don't know, you can see, this is Danny Borak. That's his. I think it there is like an essence, and this is also, I have to say, when it comes to improvising, this is my favorite way of improvising is having the time that I go on stage and the band is there and I have to slowly like get myself to that zone. Mostly I start alone. Like if you look some of the solos from festivals, it's always the same like recipe. I start by myself with a certain rhythm, then I bring one of the musicians in, then the next one, and I have to get into it, and then all of a sudden I'm in a place where, and then it flows. Yeah. For example, I'm still not very, how can I say, confident if it goes, or I don't feel home yet when it's when it's okay, 8 bars you go, 8 bars I go, 8 bars, 2 bars, 4 bars, or being part of a circle where, I mean, I love the exercise, and I try to also, when I was in Chicago, I had many chances to jam with Mad Rhythms, and that was always, I always keep telling I got my ass kicked there because it was amazing. But it was heavy, and this is but that's not, this doesn't feel like home yet, because it's still very, I have to focus that I don't think too much, and I know I only have a limited amount of time. When I go on stage and I can do a solo with a trio and I can just take my time, that feels the best.
That's your happy place.
Yeah, that's a happy place. Last year I tried something also for the first time. It was a friend of mine did, because of Corona, he did something. It was called Solo am Mittag. That means like a solo during lunch. Yeah, that's something they did. They had mostly a musician that between. It was a video that they recorded and then they streamed it during lunch, like somewhere between 12 and 1 p.m. So they asked me if I could like play for 30 minutes. And I thought, oh my God, what am I going to do for 30 minutes? So what I decided to do, I just took a metronome, and it was in a church, and it was just, I decided for a tempo, and I just took the one, like you can program it that you just hear, And so that was also like a first time, because I practice often like this. This is like my my very intimate practice time when I'm alone at the studio and I practice with the metronome, and I just, and that was the first time I did it like for a camera or for someone who's watching me for like 30 minutes. It's on YouTube. I mean, if you want to watch it, it's very long. It's more like, but that was also something where I thought, oh my God, I'm nervous and it's being recorded. And, but again, always, I feel horrible when I don't try certain things because I'm afraid of it. I think that's because if there is something you could do a project or an idea and you think, oh, that's a little crazy, but what should I do it? Is it, what will someone else think? Or I don't know, or is it too crazy? And if I don't do something like this, I will always regret more, I think, than go over the fear. I think also Will Smith said this once. I already said this in another online talk recently, that he said once that the most beautiful things in life sometimes are just behind fear, just behind being super scared of. There you find the most beautiful thing. And I think this is something that artists can relate to, because very often we can be afraid of all kinds of situations. Yeah, that's. But again, my mom. I have to reference her again. You don't know if you don't try. Yeah, it's just a fact. So, and then you try, and so all of what I'm saying to maybe get back to the championships is the same also with championships, because you decide what you are going to present there. It's not like a sort of championship where I think in music there are certain like contests where everybody plays this one thing from Bach, for example. Everybody plays the same thing, and the one who plays it the most most beautiful way, that person wins this music contest. Yeah, but in tap dance is you choose the music, you create the choreography, you create this thing. So what you create is your it's your choice.
How do you feel then that, if I can say this without being negative or stepping on anybody's toe, but how do you feel that championships kind of leave out this important part of tap dance to experience? Because these situations will not occur in championships.
I have to say, maybe I'm a little bit rebellion in this, because I like to do the opposite than what is used to be get done in Riesa. No, I mean, not always, but I did some pieces in the past that were completely different than all the other pieces, and some of those pieces were very successful. I remember I did once a formation that ended up being second. That was really where I worked with a composer. A musician was like coaching us. He was like, we wrote out the rhythms of my choreography, and then gave all of the students, they saw the music on paper, just to make them more aware. So we really worked musically and really tried to have it precisely. And then we presented this in Riesa, and even though it was a very different kind of choreography, the people liked. I mean, it ended up second. So sometimes, depending on who is sitting there in those judges, something like this can be appreciated also. And with this whole conversation, I also don't want to say that every time that someone wins in Riesa, that this is automatically a number that is not musically or whatever interesting. The people I'm just speaking about, there were just some events in some, not many, but some events in the past that were a little bit, how can I say, controversial. The results were a little controversial, and there have been a lot of talks. But the people that win in Riesa are amazing dancers. Yeah, I mean, and sometimes it happened that yes, they were amazing, but some specific things that are important in this art form were not really amazing. So then it's hard to say those things. It's very complicated. Put it into
just
words.
Push it a bit more.
Yeah.
In the championships, there is nothing about improvisation, right? And a lot of people, a lot of the masters, if I can say that, has said that tap dance as an art form is 80% improvisation.
Well, so yes, Riesa is the championship in Riesa, the world championship in Riesa. There is actually only the choreography is covered. I mean, the subject choreography. You present choreographies. You present 3 times the same choreography. You don't improvise. What exists since I think 2013 or 2012, there is something they call it the Battle of the Feet, which is actually just a cutting contest that they do also. So this is already that's nice. But
that's pretty fresh, right? Pretty new.
It's not.
2014.
I think it was 2012 when that happened the first time. I think so. Yes. So this is a next step. And yeah, I think also the interesting part that I just discovered, again, I'm just talking for myself. An interesting part that I discovered is actually when I was young, I realized, well, actually I'm improvising while I choreograph this, because I'm playing around with the music. I have to dance a couple of times through this particular tune to find what could be nice. So that helped me later when I really started to get more into improvisation, that trusting your musical feeling, trusting the way you feel the music, trusting that is really important when you choreograph, but trusting that is very important when you go into improvisation. So and I think there are also a lot of tap dancers, for them it's the opposite. They maybe learned tap dance through an improvisational way, and later they discover how fun it can be to create a choreography. I remember, I hope I say it right, I think Cartier mentioned that once to me, Cartier Williams, who really grew up in an improvising way. He only improvised as a kid most of the time, and then later he discovered that, oh wow, like choreographing, that's such an amazing, so it's those two ways, choreographing, improvising, they are also nice if they are friends.
Yeah, we have also the class acts. Like in the past, we have choreography too.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing, I think maybe for the next talk that maybe we'll have a surprise. But if you dive in history, you can find choreography. Even with Bill Robinson doing the stairs with Shirley Temple. He was like studying something. I think it's a balance. So somebody coming to me saying like, no, tap dancing is just improvising, I will say like, check history. And vice versa. If they're coming like, it's just choreography, check it. So I think it's a balance. So I'm not a fan of the extremes. So every time somebody like, oh, no.
I said I was pushing it for the conversation.
Yeah.
It wasn't necessarily my opinion, just pushing the conversation a bit.
I know. But it's interesting. Like, because maybe there's people like pulling from, no, it's just improv. I'm over like chill. Just there.
But we cannot exclude one or the other. That's
exactly.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that's that's again, I know I'm mentioning always the same words, but for me, really, this art form is a universe, and
I like it.
just and at the end, move to the planet you feel the best, of course. That's and I also think if there is I don't know, this is just speculation, but if a tap dancer decides improvisation is the only thing I want to do, then I think he tried choreography before and found out, hey, this is nothing for me. I can't. I'm not the type of person to always do the same thing and fit into this box. I tried it. It doesn't work. I don't feel home here. I have to, the way my mind works, how my spirit works, I need to be free. It needs to be, and that's great. And I would never, again, it's I think as many, it's like with the human beings and all the creatures on this planet, it's we all live on this planet. So and then in tap dance you have the opposite. You have someone who tried to improvise and realized, oh no, this is, I need this structure, I need clarity, you have the same in music. You have jazz musicians and you have classical musicians, and a classical musician's job is here you see the music written on paper. This is how you are supposed to play it, in this speed, with those accents, with those things. Everything is defined. Boom. Yeah. And then here you have jazz music. In acting, probably the same. Yeah, there are people that improvise. Yeah, improvised theater. You have actors on stage. You have actors in front of the camera. Everything needs different kinds of qualities. Art is just never ending. It's just too big, and so I just love this art form so much because all of those, I don't know, all of those amazing ways and approaches are part of it. Yeah. If you have those tap shoes, you're part of the family. I think this is Gregory Hines that this quote, and that's, for me, I would be willing to tattoo it here on my front. I won't.
That's a different kind of bet.
Your decision.
I will just remind people that if anybody has questions, go for it. We will put them up if anybody is wondering about anything. Just go for it.
I think we went, like, the questions that they mentioned the last talk, I think they're covered, no?
I can double check, but I'm pretty sure we touched the topics that, let's see.
I can say like a last thought, that all that Daniel said about judging and all of that, about, okay, like the kind of people that should be judging, like, or tap dancer or musician or dancer or blah blah blah. But for example, I'm working with in my company, the style that I'm deciding to choose is about tap dancing, but with like more movement on the upper body. So I had a modern dancer just assisting the movement. And meaning she was like so happy to see these things because she was like open and receiving what she was seeing. So I think, and she was appreciating the effort and the style and the merch and all of these things. So maybe it's not about the name that you're putting to the judge. Maybe it's like you need open people that they can appreciate what they're seeing, and can be somebody from the street. But maybe because of the tag, this is the most amazing, I don't know, jazz choreographer. So maybe they're like closed mindset. So maybe the point is like to have like open mindset people instead of like tagging if I'm a tap dancer or just musician, because we're not just one thing.
Yes. Yeah.
I think that's no, but I mean, the three of us, I think that we're pretty similar in that way, at least from what I've seen of you, Daniel. I know Estefanía from before, but all of us is showing an interest of movement in the tap dance, which, is a personal preference, but at least what I saw from your videos and stuff, I saw that you have the same kind of like aesthetics about it that you want to include in your technique.
Yeah, but yes. with me personally, it starts with the piece of music that I hear, or maybe a musician that I hear. I don't know. For me, it's just, I mean, we don't know where inspiration and thoughts and ideas, where they come from. It's a little bit, it's a mystical thing for me. But sometimes I heard this one piece of music and I saw the movement. I saw it. I need to go on the floor here. There is no question for me. I have to use the music in this way. Yeah, it's the.
I thought all great ideas came. I thought all great ideas come when you're in the shower. That's what normally happens, right?
Sorry.
Right.
At least every dancer I talk to is like the best choreographers or ideas, they have been born in the shower.
Yeah, but just to finish the thing, and then you hear a different kind of song, and you know, to this music, I just wanna like play it, or this musician. I remember this one gig I had with a cajon player, with an amazing percussionist, you know, and I mean, if when he started to play and I was there, and it was a very spontaneous gig, so I just took my board, I stand right next to him, and then I don't want to do some dancey stuff. I have to go with him, yeah. And we had like sex together rhythmically, you know. It was crazy. We had to you know. It depends what music is there, yeah. And with that shower, with the shower situation, is one of the pieces that I did also in Chicago when I was there, and here with my company. The whole structure of that song came to my mind when I was waiting for the elevator in Chicago. It was 30 seconds. It was I was listening the music, and I had it on my headphones, and boom, and it was there. And the day before, I was at the studio with the song, and I tried all kinds of things, and it didn't work. And then the next day, waiting for the elevator, whoosh, and then exactly what the idea that came. This is what I used. Yeah. So again, I think it's so nice that to have, I think, as you said before, Estefanía, to have the freedom to, well, now I want to do this. I want to, it's my decision. I want to consciously combine tap dance with another dance style. Here in this project, no. Here I have to improvise and play music with this drummer or with this band. And here I have a composer who tells me, hey, here you have to play this, study, babam, and nothing else. Yeah. So I think this is so nice to for me at least to. And I'm sorry, just before I had another topic, and we mentioned that last time when just the three of us spoke. For example, cutting contests. Cutting contests today happen at almost every festival, and you also have judges, mostly the faculty, yeah, sitting there and judging the cutting contest. You know how many times I witnessed discussions at cutting contests where they were not, you know, they didn't have the same opinion. Some people said right, the other said left, you know, and then there were discussions, and then one person said, well, but he was more in the pocket, he was tighter, and yeah, but the other one risked a little more and tried, yeah, but then the other one cut more, and then yeah, but that one played more with accents, yeah, but I think this is, you know. So it's an art form, huh? And there are companies and groups of people where the company members, they have to participate in cutting contests, you know. I mean, again, I think I remember correctly, one member of Mad Rhythms, Alexandria, I think it was. I remember she said once in Chicago, I just heard it with 1 ear, that she said, oh, we have to participate if there's a cutting contest, we have to do it. Yeah. So, and for me, this is great, because you know, on that day there's a cutting contest and I'm going to participate. So it's a goal that you can prepare yourself. Yeah, you can go and just get in shape and get your stuff together and somehow be ready to talk and cut, So and also there you have judges, and the judges don't share the same opinion sometimes. And as you just said, maybe it would be a very interesting how do you say, a very interesting experiment to take 7 random people from the street, then take 7 ballet dancers, 7 tap dancers, 7 drummers, 7 painters.
Let's do that.
And all of them, they are like, they have to judge the same 6 pieces, and then just to see how people, maybe for the painter, he likes that one the best, or the painters, let's say, and the ballet dancers, this is what they like, and so that would be an interesting experiment, just to see how tastes can be different, and yeah.
Very interesting study. It will be for sure.
But there's a thing you mentioned also in the cutting contest, like the way that they're judging lately, or as I see it in the last cutting contest, is like if you play safe, maybe you will not win. So the one that is put like more tricks or pushing a little bit more risky, maybe will win. So that's happening also in the championships.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. You can say, wow, this person did amazing steps and was rushing a little, but it was so hard, and he had all the sounds. So now how you decide? You think this guy practiced, or whoever practiced so much, those steps are difficult, and he gets this speed and all. Yes, he rushed a little. Okay. And this was very interesting. Once at the Swiss Championship, we had a case like this. There was a little girl. I don't remember what year it was. A little girl did she did a very nice solo, but you can see that the girl was not tap dancing for that many years already. Yeah, and the solo was not so difficult technique-wise, also not rhythmical-wise, but it was very precise. She was beautifully on music. It was perfect. She was in the pocket. And then there was another dancer that was dancing like against that girl, and she had like, I think it was a fast number. It was like I think it was also like a fast swingy thing, and much more difficult. And she wasn't so precise. She was it was a little rushed, but she had obviously more technical capability, more vocabulary, and also what she did was just more difficult. And in certain places, she wasn't completely tight. Yeah. And then the little girl won. And that was then a discussion, because it was, she played the safe, it was a safer number. Yeah, and then someone else said, yeah, but it's the goal, no? That it's clean. Yes, but, and you can start to discuss. And it's exactly what you just said with the cutting contests. So even though with the best, with the most amazing tap dancers, this would be another experiment. Oh, by the way, another thing I forgot. Diane Walker was once a judge in Riza.
Oh,
I think 1 year. I think I heard Diane tell the story. She knows Michael Wendt. She knew also Bill Fowler. Diane was there for 1 year. There was also a year that Chloe was a judge. So that would be another experiment. You take Sam Weber, Diane Walker, Jason Samuel Smith, Jason Janis, Dormisha, Derek. I don't know. I don't know how many that would. You take 7 amazing masters from our time right now, and let them judge and see how.
I think they will fight.
I think so too.
No, I know.
We see them fight in cutting contests. They will fight. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they were.
Like No winners. I don't
I
care.
don't remember if it was in Stockholm or if it was in Barcelona, but it was one year in the cutting contest. They had to actually go out of the room because they fight so much about how to decide. It was like, no, we're supposed to judge like this and this and this. No, we're supposed to do this, and they went out of the room, and they kept. It was a whole mess. So
Yeah, no, yeah, but so again, as long, yeah, championships, contests in art forms are just a tricky. This is just a tricky thing, and that's why I don't know. Again, my opinion is be aware of that. Be aware that what you're doing is an art form. The results are not absolute. It's not sports where you do more points than someone else. Use it as an exercise to get a lot of experience on stage, and and so again, not taking it too serious, but yeah, it's definitely, it's an interesting topic.
I have a last thought. Don't blame me for that. I think because of the competition, can be like cutting contest, championship. I don't care. But there's you focus on the footwork, and suddenly there's like more crazy steps. I don't know who was first. I don't know if they come like the idea of challenging and doing like more risky steps came from the cutting contest, from the improvisation and championship. I don't know, but I think lately we have a lot of dancers that they're like footworkers. You can see them like and doing like amazing things. It's like okay, and there was like a kind of a line or just a conversation in the social media, or I think if you talk with any dancer, which is the limit, or which is the this line about the footwork and the dancing, because we had Sara Petronio, like it's tap dancing, like focusing on this, and I don't know, because of this competing feeling, I feel there's like more footworkers than dancers. I'm crazy, no?
Me.
Yes. Go out.
Nico started a couple of these conversations lately. I saw him posting for the past few days, like, in your opinion, who is the best technician? In your opinion, who is the best or gives you the most feeling? These kind of things. It's very interesting to see what people are answering.
Oh. That's a very, I mean, that's a very interesting point. And
sorry.
No.
I don't think we're expecting an answer on that.
There is not a, that is not an answer.
No, I think there's not an answer, but there's
so again,
I
for me personally, I remember 2010, I was in Chicago and I saw Jason Janis for the first time. First time. I had no chance to meet him before. I heard his name, but I've never seen a video of him or anything. I was in Chicago, I took his class, and then I saw him perform. At the end of the performance, I jumped up and I was screaming on stage. I was like, everybody, because what he did, I have never seen this level of technical craziness in a solo, in an improvised solo. After seeing him, I was extremely inspired to go and practice that. And that was, it was inspiration. I thought, wow, he did this, and then he did it on the left, and then he did this, and he did that on the left, and So for a while in my path, that was something that touched me, Diane Walker once did a solo. That was the first solo that made me cry. It was the first solo I saw, like, with my own eyes, sitting in the audience, and Diane was dancing also in Chicago. And I was crying at the end. Derek did the same thing to me. in Zurich 2012. I was sitting right next to the stage, and so when I witnessed that, I got inspired by, okay, you can touch someone. Yeah. Also, Demi Remix solo once, I remember in Zurich, also was very, all of a sudden it got, then when I saw Savian Glover with my own eyes the first time, he was in Zurich at a theater festival. He did Bare Sounds. When I heard this type of quality of sound, all of a sudden, I thought, how is he touching the floor? How is he doing those accents? How is he playing this music with his feet? I had a similar experience when I danced with Cartier a couple of times, this dynamics. So then my thing was, wow, dynamics. So, what I want to say is there are so many aspects of this art form. Yes, now, movement-wise, when I don't know, when I see Michelle Doran's work, what and how she uses her body, what I want to say is basically that whatever all of this inspired me. The people inspired me. Those a technician thing, a soul. Something that touches your soul, something that has amazing sound quality, movement. It just depends. I think in the end, it depends on what touches you, and that what touches you or inspires you. This is where I will go when I go to practice. This is what I all of a sudden start to become interested in. So if you see someone who's really how we said, like a foot worker or a technician, someone who really goes, so this person must have someone in his life or her life that inspired them to do so. Yeah. So, and this is beautiful. This is amazing. Yeah. I have recently I watched one of Max Pollak's videos, and after a long time, I watched this one video where he has this multiple cameras. He has this white thing on. He does his whole art, and I thought, how the hell can he groove like that? I mean, this is not possible. And he sings and does all of those things. Or I watched Sam Weber's solo where he's literally, it's like a ballet solo, and which one, it's on YouTube.
The white one,
the boss piece. Yes. I mean, there are so many. I think, and all of those artists that I mentioned, and there are many more, but they decide that they are giving their lives to this art form, and they dive into what is their essence. Yeah. I think, why was Jimmy Slide the way Jimmy Slide was? Because he was doing what he felt. Yeah. He was Jimmy Slide because he found himself in this art form and how he could express himself. And that made him, that inspires all of us. What was Gregory Hines was this kind of character. Baby Lawrence was this kind of character. All of them had also their likes, their dislikes. Steve Condos, if you look at Steve Condos in the documentary about Tap, the way he speaks about the accent, bupati, and he speaks like this, da 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 da, and you can feel. So I think it's the people. Certain, or when Barbara Duffy makes you sing the rhythm, bupati, badiliaba. Yeah, you have those amazing teachers and artists that inspire all of us, and all of us are inspired by something else. Yeah, and if I see someone who's really going into the technique, and I see that that's him, that's authentic, then this is beautiful, because this is what this person wants to do. If you see someone who is really, I don't know, who loves Fred Astaire and Gene Kelly and goes into this kind of thing, and when I watch this person and I feel that this is what they like, I mean, what is more beautiful in arts than seeing a fish in the water? Yeah. So there is always, yeah.
Iselin? No?
I was just going to say that exactly what you're describing is the great thing about tap dance, that, you have so many different inspiration personalities, and they still use our art form to express themselves in that way.
Yes.
I'll say maybe because you explain like all inspirations like coming from technique or soul or movement or dynamics or all of this. Maybe just like throwing to the air, like checking where are the inspirations and not focus just in the technical, because maybe like there's some fashion thing right now with this, but I think they can explore more, and maybe we're like stuck on something, and they feel good in this, and maybe like just like don't be like square.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I absolutely agree that I also saw students or young tap dancers, and I can see that they think that if they only when they do technical difficult steps, that makes them good tap dancers. And this is a problem. This is this is very close-minded, yeah, because it's the same like with speaking. Yeah, tap dance is a language. We have simpler words, we have difficult, complicated words. It's the same. Imagine I would speak to you like that right now, the way I already do, but using only complicated words that you don't understand in a very fast speed, very fast all the time. 20 minutes I speak like this, only fast, only complicated words. Would you like to listen to me? Maybe the first 2 minutes, and then you would fall asleep. Yeah. So with tap dance, it's the same. I also think absolutely to say that a tap dancer who only thinks that only technical ability makes me an amazing tap dancer, no. There is so much more. Yeah.
I think it's just like to the air, like just explore your inspiration, just this, like everybody will figure it out what it means.
Yeah. And also, for example, again, when I take an improvisation class with Barbara Duffy, she tells me, Danny, you're too loud. Only use your front taps, only no, and don't do different steps and do them, and yes, that's amazing, because that she tries to take she sees your habit. Don't do what is your habit, try it differently. Yeah. And this is it. So to someone who I don't know, I mean, that's just now putting A and B together. So someone who the only thing that dancer is dancing is super complex and very difficult and very fast, you could say, hey, can you do only do slides, play around with slides and long notes, try and see what that does to you. Someone who's always loud, try to be and the opposite, someone who's always too, can you give a little, but that depends also on maybe the teachers or people around them, and also the mindset, because maybe certain people, they just want to stick to their thing, and then okay. but yeah,
I'm always, when I'm teaching improvisation or mostly in improvisation, like I'm trying to take them out from the thing they're doing, so maybe they will find themselves in other places too. So maybe for the fear, they're just stuck in like or maybe there's one stuck only the movement, so you can have like both things. Like, no, I just like care about the body, and it's like, oh, check your feet, so inverse. So I'm not saying one is worse than the other, but putting yourself in another place, you find yourself how you deal with this, and then once you go back, you have like more words or another part of your language. I don't know.
Mm.
So yeah,
Did it happen to you also that, for example, I don't know, you improvised somewhere, and in one certain moment in your solo, let's say, you somehow you lost connection, you weren't very somehow not happy with a certain moment, and then you maybe leave the stage or whatever, and you think, oh no, that was damn, that was trash. But then people came up to you and said, that was great, you danced, you did something different. I don't know if you experienced that already.
Yeah.
I experienced that a few times where I thought, what was I doing? And then when I looked at it a little later, I saw, okay, that was really, I don't usually do this or that, you know. So again, it's your comfort zone, yeah. That you're afraid, you stick to your safe game sometimes, even if you improvise, you know, and you try to have control, and then you lose it somewhere, or you don't know where you are, and then you think that was bad. But in the end, that was the most interesting moment in your performance, in your improvisation. So it's very interesting. It's very interesting.
yep.
The arts.
It happened.
We have a question here.
Okay, sorry.
Sorry.
It happened to me, this thing in Vancouver. It was like really,
Okay.
like suddenly I was like, it was kind of like around a choreography that I had, and just like playing around and having like some spots to maybe be more free. But because I said the song like really in the last moment with the musicians, I get lost in the structure. So suddenly I found myself like, I don't know where I am. And I started improvising. I spent the week receiving classes from Danny Nielsen and Andrew and all these kinds of people. And suddenly I see my improvisation like based on the steps that they were giving to me. Yeah. Oh. And I went back to the choreography, and I left the stage like, shit. It feels like really bad. And then watched the video and like, okay.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah. It was interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I have to.
Sorry.
Apart from
Yoshi, she says, I can read it out loud. Apart from World Championship, are there any other competitions? I think I heard about World Cup. In ballet, there are different types of competitions. So as in calligraphy, painting, etc. They always amaze me to realize different ways of expression and evaluate using a same simple tool.
Again, I know of other. I think in the US there are many different kinds of tap competitions, but for example, I don't know. I've never been to one of these. The World Cup used to exist. There was also the European Tap Championship that won't happen, I think, anymore, unfortunately, in Czech Republic. But I've never been there. But I think in the US there are a lot of different kinds of competitions. But I think I'm not sure. Maybe that's wrong. But I think some of those competitions are not only tap, but tap is a part of the competing styles. Like they compete in many different styles, and tap is one of them. I'm not sure. I haven't done any research there. But yeah. Another thing, I don't know if I mentioned it last time, just shortly, we are trying with like Swiss Tap and with Daniel Leveillé and Charlene Müller. We would like to try to add other kinds of competing forms into the Swiss Championship. So a cutting contest, a crew battle where because in breakdance and in hip hop there are the crew battles, sometimes, or just two groups battling each other, where sometimes just one dancer comes and then maybe two come out and they do a routine, and then maybe the whole crew answers with the whole thing. So we would like to try this with tap dance. So this is another thing. And then also the vintage routines, where in the back you play an old original clip from a master, let's say from Bill Robinson, and in the front you try to copy that as perfect as possible. So other forms to include, to also open up just the mind of the dancers, but also of the people in the audience. It can be also interesting for people that just come and watch, to see all kinds of different forms of competing. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Is
Anything
there
we should say about next episode, baby?
But we have like new information? No.
No. We don't. So there might be a surprise. We're trying to
for next time
make something. Next time is in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And
it's 21st.
21st. Yes. In the meantime, if I'm not mistaken, you can take classes next weekend with my print. These two guys.
Düsseldorf. Yeah. Nice. Virtually.
It was supposed to be one of the first festivals in Europe. Can't happen. Germany, they're not good. They're not doing good with this. So they decide to, like, after all the changes that they went through about the festival,
that means
decide to
that
do
more people can take
online
classes.
Yes. So they need to check just the website of just like follow Daniel Luca or us, and you will find information.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you can still get your dose next weekend if you want.
That's why we're not doing it next week, because it's like there's no time for that.
So
two things at once.
Yes.
So in 2 weeks we will be back with the last talk with Daniel. So make sure to spread the words and bring your questions, and maybe we have a little surprise for you.
Yeah, we'll go around some history. Just like some facts around the competing or the challenge or something, like make us like grow the art form too. So just a little notes around these things. That's the main idea for the talk. But if you ask, you will have your answers or your like our approach, opinion. I don't know. Be careful.
Thank you guys for joining. It's always a pleasure. Everybody who's watching. You guys, I'm so confused by this. Like, which side are you?
Yeah, well, it's different, eh?
I know it's mirrored, so I'm so confused.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's
like pointing. Okay.
No.
Next class is gonna be like Vogue or something. No.
Upside down.
Yes. Okay. So thank you for today. Ciao, ciao.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Bye. See you in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.